Hey beautiful people, what's going on? Hope you're doing amazingly well and in these circumstances at the moment staying safe. I didn't know whether to do this as a Let's Talk Mentality video or just a general video, and I thought in the end it's probably better to just do this as a general video just because there's a lot of things amongst this, if that makes sense. It's not solely talking about mental health, it's not solely talking about the circumstances going on, it's all combined together, and it's just nice to have something to share with everyone. So in a sense it's just having that place to go to where you can escape from these things if you feel like you need a bit of an escape, if you need to have some kind of normal circumstance, if that makes sense, just something to just keep you going and have that thing of where to go, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't after I've said all that, but I wanted to make this as uncut and raw as I possibly could, just because it would just be more real, because it is real, it's a real circumstance, but I want to be positive about it. I want to be optimistic because that's the kind of person I am. That's the type of person that I value. It's what I value about myself. It's something that I absolutely love, and being able to have this platform to share that with you is amazing, and I really appreciate it, especially at this time. So if you need a bit of an escape, if you need to have just something to watch, just something to give you just a bit of time away from everything else, then please keep watching and hope you enjoy this video. So in terms of what is going on, obviously I'm not going to say the word because I think we all know what we're talking about here, but in terms of self-isolation and what's been going on, I'm just here to share my experience of it so far, what I've been going through with it, my emotions, fears, and advice that I want to give you guys that I think is really beneficial to help you throughout this time. So going into a bit of a backstory with it, the circumstances for me started sinking in, and this is going to sound really stupid, when my mum came back from work one day and said all the supermarkets are empty of hand sanitizer, there's none left. And I thought, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, because of the circumstances going on, people are panic buying hand sanitizers. And I thought, okay, so it's going like a little bit too far too soon kind of thing. But then as weeks went on, when I came back from being away at a hen do one weekend and things were starting to progress more, it was pretty much going on everywhere, and obviously in our country it was going on more. Then it kind of sunk in a bit more, and then everybody was talking about it at work. Everywhere you went, social media, it was plastered everywhere. And I think for me that became kind of a real moment when it was like, okay, so this is actually happening. But then at the time I still remained positive. I was still optimistic. If somebody said something, I just thought, do you know what, it's fine, we'll get through it. It's something that is really awful, it is going on and it is spreading, but we'll stay sane, we'll be fine, things will, be okay. And then the weeks went on a bit more, and then when I came back from the hen do in March, that was when things were starting to change. So places were starting to close down, people were losing their jobs, and all of this was going on around me. And it did feel weird. It felt really weird. And for something that none of us have gone through before, I think we can all agree that this is a really weird situation. It's really what you do kind of thing. Like, it was, yeah, it's just a weird thing to think about that this is actually happening. Then obviously seeing it everywhere, people were sharing their own experiences, their feelings, what was going on with them. People were losing loved ones, they were worried about the vulnerable, obviously the elderly, younger generations, and you couldn't escape from it anywhere. It was everywhere you could look, everywhere you would go, it would be somewhere. And I know people who suffer from mental health, and from people especially with things like anxiety, since this has occurred, it has really pushed the anxiety levels up, and people were panicking, people were thinking about what's going to happen to their jobs, people were then thinking about different things with their health and that. We can all agree it's the uncertainty, it's the unknown that I think is really pushing all of this up, and it's all up in the air in a sense. We hear everything on the news and on social media and everything that's going on, and it just puts things even more up in the air. You think you know one thing one day and then it changes the next day. And it's just so conflicting and contrasting every single day. And you think, what on earth is going on? So 2 weeks ago was when my self-distancing started. To me, I took it as an appreciative time, a time where it was time off. I know it was a different kind of time off, but it was a time to really take in each day and really think just about my feelings each day. And it was taking it into my own. It was, even though this was going on around me, for me, I was still thinking in the life that I can control at the minute. What can I do to keep going, and all of this, that, and the other? And in a sense, this has been a positive experience. Obviously, it's not, with the circumstances going on, it's not something to laugh and joke about, but by all means, in terms of the things that I can control, it's really helped me to appreciate things a bit more, take things day by day, to not be so anxious and worrying and all the negative emotions that can really push you over and off the edge. And even though the circumstances were happening, to me, it's just always felt like an opportunity to just be and take each day as it comes, and to, in a sense, look after myself, because this is what the world, in a sense, has been telling us all. Like, it's a time to really think about yourself, think about your loved ones, think about what is best at this time to really take hold of and appreciate and control. I think that's the words that a few of us are feeling that we don't have in these circumstances. And it's true, we do not have any control of what is going on around us. The only things we can control are the things, in here. Like, we have to focus on, it's all about focusing on the things that we ourselves can control, rather than what's in the environment that is completely out of our hands. And once sort of really taking that in and really thinking about it, I thought to myself how I can really look after myself and really put more investment into me. Because even though I do things, they get taken over by life, because life has these things, you can't control it, and it can get stressful. But within these circumstances right now, it's given me more of that belief of what I can do each day to help myself, what I can do to better my mood, what I can do to really invest in myself, really take care of myself, and make sure that the people that I know and love are all doing well, and putting that into practice. And there was actually a really nice quote that I read online. I absolutely loved it as soon as I read it, and I thought I would let you know what that is, because it's such a nice one to share. Understanding the difference between what is happening in the world and what is happening only in your mind is key to finding your own personal freedom. So that kind of really reiterated to me that finding control in the things that you yourself can control just helps you find more peace and helps you to stay calm, remain positive, and just keep going. Because sometimes I think in these circumstances you feel like that it's kind of like, that's it, like, what else is there? And I think as well, freedom has been taken away. You can't go anywhere, you can't see people, you can't do any of the things that made up your life before. Those things have been taken away from you. Your freedom is just been obtained elsewhere. And it's a really weird feeling to think about. And I think, again, that's something, as individuals, there's no right or wrong way to feel about it. You shouldn't have to feel like you should remain positive. You shouldn't have to feel like that you need to be down in the dumps all the time. It's what you take from it. It's taking each day as it comes, because one day you might feel absolutely fine, the next day you might feel really weird, you might feel a bit down, you might feel a bit confused, a bit anxious, and it's going to vary every day. It's going to vary different parts of the day, and that is okay. That is absolutely fine. You're entitled to do what you need to do for yourself. And with what's going on as well, I know sometimes it can feel a bit like, well, what can I do to help people, help make things better? And, you know, in a way, that's a really positive way to look at things, because you're already thinking about things that you can control to help, things that you can personally do that's going to help other people, but also make you feel better about yourself. Because I feel like that's something that as a society we should really do. We should really pull together. We should really help others in whatever way we can. Yesterday was Thursday, and at 8 o'clock, our street all appeared to do the clapping, and it felt so amazing. But for me, it was the first time that I really fully embraced it, and I thought, do you know what? Like, let's let it out for the NHS. Let's clap, clap, clap. I was wooing. I said, thank you, NHS, to the top of my voice, and I just fully embraced that moment, because I just thought, do you know what? People need to hear this. People need to embrace the new temporary circumstances of what's going on, and to just be in the moment, to just have that feeling of gratitude, appreciation for others, but also yourself and the measures that you're taking to stay safe and to help other people around you. And that's an amazing feeling to have. And yesterday I had a bit of downtime where I felt a bit weird in the morning. I just woke up and I just thought, this feels really weird and I don't really know what to do. But by the end of the day, I was just on top, and I was just like, do you know what? This is what it's all about. This is what life is. It's embracing the circumstances that have been brought to you in the best possible way that you can. And I know some people are living on their own. Some people are focusing on loved ones that are unfortunately ill in hospital or have got different arrangements going on. You're not seeing the people that you want to see, and it can be damaging, but also it's taking the normality that you can from those circumstances and putting it into your own. So it's taking some kind of sense from it and really putting it into your everyday life, because temporarily that's what it's going to be. And that's sort of what I've taken from it. That's how I've really thought about it. And, you know, I love that I'm doing that. I love that I'm taking these measures. I've got this thought process and I'm feeling really positive and optimistic about things. And that's what I do for others around me. That's what I've been doing with my parents, my family, my friends, just trying to share it on my social platforms as much as I can. And yeah, that's amazing. And I'm so proud of myself for it. And that's, yeah, it's just an amazing feeling. And I hope that you're all doing okay and that you can find some sense of normality, some sense of positivity, just something to take from this that helps you feel better. So in terms of things that I've done, things that you can try to really help yourself in the circumstances you're in. So spending time with the loved ones. Obviously some of us aren't that lucky to be living with relatives or with somebody else. I live with my parents, so I've got that amazing opportunity to be able to spend time with them. But make sure you stay in contact with people that are important to you, whether that's over Messenger, text, FaceTime, video chat, video call, on the phone, Skyping. Just make sure that there's that normality somewhere. So for example, if you're used to seeing your grandparents on a Sunday, why don't you FaceTime on the Sunday at the normal time you go? It just gives you that bit of normality. It gives you that sense. Is it going to be strange? Of course it is. But for you yourself, it just gives you that little bit of control back in your life, and knowing that, you know, you've got that platform to talk to people. I know sometimes it can be a bit scary, especially if you're not somebody that likes talking on the phone, that likes video chatting and that, but make it your new norm. Like, tell yourself that you're going to call somebody for 10 minutes, even if it's just on the phone, you know, just something to help you, just something to just give you that bit of control, and that will help you in the long run, because the more you do it, the more you'll feel comfortable with it. So another thing I have been trying to do, staying off social media. It is, with the circumstances going on, it is literally everywhere. Some people are positive about it, some people are panicking, some people are nervous. You get the articles coming up on your social media feed on Facebook, and people click on it. And I know that for me, as an individual, it's not healthy to keep scrolling and keep clicking on all these different links, Because something that I have realised is that not every piece of social media that you read is 100% true. And it's important to keep up to date, of course it is, but make sure that you're doing it from platforms that you know are telling the truth. Word of mouth as well, sometimes when you talk to your friends, like one of them might say, oh, by the way, such and such has happened today. And then it just puts you in that mood and you think, oh my gosh, like, and you lose that sense of control. All the negative emotions come up and you think, I can't handle this. So it is important to spend time off of social media, or at least don't click all the links that come up on your feed, because they're not necessarily 100% true. They might have just taken a certain factor from a news story and just put it into their own words, you know, just to like expand it a bit more, make it more of something. And sometimes as well, you know, it's looking for the good in all of these feeds. Like there are feeds that sometimes you don't necessarily hear about because they're not the greatest piece of news compared to something else. So it's trying to focus on that side of things, more the positive side of what's coming out of this weird thing, rather than, you know, thinking it's all dark doom and gloom and that is it. So staying off social media and not necessarily listening to word of mouth. Just keep yourself informed, make sure that you yourself know the facts, and it just gives you that security that you are keeping up to date with things, you are having that moment of making sure that you're undertaking the measures and being really safe and really careful. But yeah, just make sure that you are looking at it for yourself and not just doing it directly from another site or another person. Make sure that you get outside, even if you're just going for a short walk, a brisk walk, even if it's 15 minutes, just make sure that you go outside in the environment. It just gives you that break from being at home, because being at home sometimes can be a lot when you just stay in all day. If you've been watching Netflix all day, if you've just been keeping yourself to yourself and having all these thoughts, it can really take its toll. So make sure you get yourself outside, do some exercise as well. You know how much I love exercise. You know, I've been doing it nearly every day at the minute. I absolutely love it. And it just gives me that me time. It gives me that sense of what I can control, putting my body through things, making sure that it's staying healthy, watching what I eat kind of thing. So, you know, not going like full on hardcore, but just really thinking about what can I put in my body to make it feel better? What options have I got? And just, you know, again, having that sense of control, that sense of, you know, I've got this, like I have got this in self-isolation, like I can do this. So invest in new skills as well. So think about things that maybe you've always wanted to try, things that you've always thought about doing, that can really enhance your skills and get you a new hobby. So if you always fancied DIY, look at DIY videos on YouTube. If you've always fancied starting a YouTube channel, look at tips on how to start it, get your camera out and start recording things. If you thought about scrapbooking before, maybe if there's some online sites still that you can still access to gain these things, just get some materials and start creating your own scrapbook. I started doing that and I absolutely love it. It just gives me that sense of quality me time that I absolutely love. I know I want to put some more photos up around my room and whatnot and make it a bit more of me. So that's something that I'm definitely doing. Learn a new language. That is always good because you never know when you're going to need it. I did this the other day as well. I made a list of things that I wanted to incorporate within my week. And there was so much. I'll see if I can get a picture of it and put it up. But there was so much on my list. There was listening to more podcasts, there was meditation, more self-care. So not necessarily the beauty side of things, but thinking more internally and keeping yourself happy and positive. It was still keeping to my exercise. It's still doing more YouTube videos. But there was so much on that list and I thought, oh my gosh, like all the things that I've wanted to do for such a long time, like I can now do within my week. And you can start planning it out. You can make yourself a little calendar and think, what am I going to do this day? What am I going to do that day? Which brings me on to having some routine. And I don't mean, you know, waking up at 7 o'clock, do this, 8 o'clock, do this, 9 o'clock, do that. Some people have different ways of how they work, but just have it each day and give yourself up to 3 to 5 things to do each day. So whether that's tidy up your room, washing your car, taking some time out to have some you time, phoning a friend, just different things like that, just so you've got that sense of routine. I know sometimes some days you'll just want to just stay in bed, or you'll just want to, you know, sit on the sofa and just watch TV all day, and that's fine. But sometimes, like, jazz it up a bit. So instead of staying in your pajamas, like, just put on your comfies instead, just so it gives you that bit more of a, you know, do something more in your day kind of thing. Just gives you a bit of a boost and whatnot. Also cooking as well. Like, look, there's so many different recipes. You can start learning how to cook using what you've got already, and before you know it, you could be the new Gordon Ramsay. You never know. But just having a bit of routine is really, really good. And just having you time. So obviously if you're living alone, you're going to have a lot of you time, but really think about what you want to obtain in that you time. So obviously some of us are working from home. What are you going to do outside of working from home? Are you going to read a book? Are you going to listen to some podcasts? Are you going to take up a new hobby? Are you going to do some exercise? Like, there's so many exercise platforms and whatnot. It's just having that special you time, things that you know are going to make yourself feel good in the long run, that by the end of the day you're thinking, like, yeah, like, that felt amazing, like, I feel so amazing about today, what's tomorrow going to bring? And it just gives you that bit of extra boost for each day, whilst you're not sure what's going on. It just gives you that sense of, you know, this is what's going on today, let's see what tomorrow brings. And also just really thinking about what you're grateful for. I've got a gratitude journal, and I haven't written in it in a while, which I should really do. But it's just, seriously, but it's just really listing what you're grateful for, 3 things that you're grateful for each day. They can be the littlest things to the most emotive things. It can be anything you want it to be. And just really appreciate what life has for you right now, even though it may feel like that it absolutely sucks, and it can suck, it can be rubbish and absolutely crap. But at the same time, when there's one half, there's the other half, and you've got to weigh up the cons and pros and really think, okay, so what can I take from this? What positivity can I take from it? And you'll feel so much better. It'll feel absolutely amazing, and it just reassures for yourself that you can get through this, and things will be better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Things will eventually pass, and it just gives you that opportunity to start again. It gives you the opportunity to really think about what you want from life. Like, think about it, you know, as a reincarnation kind of thing. Your new life, once this all ends, what's going to happen? And you'll feel absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this a massive thumbs up if you did. I really enjoyed making this one, and I hope you're well. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care.